Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Vontae, and I'm back with another Power video. It's Power Book 2 Ghost, Episode 7, a recap. And this was a pretty good one, y'all. Definitely a build-up episode for Episode 8. And for the most part, it's a lot of storylines going in here. So throughout the week, make sure y'all keep in touch. Hit that like and subscribe button because I will be dropping videos all week. But we're going to get into this one. So we see Kane's back on his old, doing his own thing, rebellion at its finest, and he links up with a member from the GTG crew. They hitting a lick at some church, at a church for the most part, and yeah, it doesn't seem too smart on how they planned this out. Like Kane, you see, he shows up with he has a COVID-19 mask on. The top of his face, obviously you can see it. So unless you're gonna take out everybody in this at this church, which they didn't. That wasn't a good idea to wear a mask where you can actually tell who the person was. And I know some people have been wondering, oh, who's the person that Kane is with? Blah blah blah. We thought it would be Lil Guap, but it turns out to be we don't. It actually not Lil Guap. We don't really know who that is. I wonder if it'll come out later in down the road because Kane obviously got caught and he was snitched on by one of the people from the church. So I wonder if the person with the GTG tattoo on his hand told somebody at the church what the situation was or snitched to the cops on him. But yeah, we're gonna talk about this part in a little bit because yeah, Kane definitely gets snitched on and he gets picked up later down the road. Now your boy Braden, yeah, him and Riley. Oh, yeah, they got a lot of stuff going on up in the room this morning. But yeah, your boy Braden, he down there eating up the lunchbox, and it's sex week, so we should have expected a whole lot. We should expect a whole lot of sex to go on throughout this episode. And after the fact, for the most part, Riley sits there and she tells Braden like, "All right, be honest with me. Tell me the truth about what's going on and why you really were disappeared that day." And Braden still hits her with the, it was Trace. He this is that, this and that, this and that, and I don't really believe that she's believing that Braden is telling the truth in this situation. And for the most part, we all know he's not. Now your boy Tariq, yeah, he's not feeling it. He can't stand Riley. You know, like Braden, man, we talked about this. What's she doing here, man? And for the most part, he's sitting there telling them, "Oh, you two look like two raw chicken cutlets," and he making fun of him, and he's pretty much saying like she isn't supposed to be here. She's not allowed to be here. I don't like her being here all the time. She's like always here. So we know your boy Tariq, he's not feeling Riley whatsoever because he feels like she's a spy. And Braden, he's pretty much saying it's sex week, man. Like trying to get my freak on. And yeah, Braden, yeah. I mean, at least somebody's getting some because we all know it ain't been Tariq so far. And I mean, it is what it is. So as we rewind a little bit, before the situation with Tariq walking in on Braden and Riley, Tariq's in class, and this is where he finds out that he's not being a part of the program. I guess he was a few points off or whatnot. And by the look on his face, you can tell like he's pissed. Um, they read out the names who made it. Your girl Lauren made it. I know she's happy about that. She's smiling and stuff. But then as you look on Tariq's face, it's just like damn, man, like this is supposed to be it. This is my chance. This was my chance to get that early graduation so I can get to my inheritance much sooner than what it'll be if I don't get this for this program. So like I said, he's pissed, and at the end of the class, Carrie, she comes up to him, she talks to him, tell him how she's sorry about it, and they go over it for the most part. And as we see, your boy Jabari, he's in the back, he's looking like, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? And to be honest, this episode, he been on some really creepy stuff, man. Like his obsession with Tariq, it's getting out of hand. And like I said, he's over here, he's just like staring him down because he feels there's something up between those two. And moving on, Monet, she's on the phone with Lorenzo, and she's pretty much like, "Yo, like, what happened with you and Kane? Like, what was the conversation like? Like, what happened up there?" Because she knows he went to go see him, and Kane is. Like, she's like, "Damn, it's been 3 days. Like, I ain't seen him. We ain't seen him. We got a drop going on tonight, and he's nowhere to be found." Lorenzo's pretty much like, yeah, I pretty much I talked to him. He came out, I talked to him. I pretty much told him that like you're me out there. He needs to respect you, and he needs to fall in line. I told him his place in this family for the most part. Now, as we seen in the last episode, Davis McLean, he was giving Sax a call, and Sax obviously felt like Davis McLean was up to his own little, like, shindig or whatnot, so he didn't answer the phone. So your boy Davis McLean, as he should, he pops up on Sax like, yo, like, what's going on? You ain't answering my calls. And Sax is pretty much telling him like, yo, like, Stephen Ott, he's on my back, and he doesn't like the fact that it looks like I'm getting killed out there. So I need to bring somebody to understand that knows like Ghosts or James St. Patrick's like situation, but will also sit there and tell like, okay, yeah, make it seem like Tasha was a part of it and it was like had some control in that situation, and they both think about it. Sax starts naming out people. He's sitting there saying like, "Oh, I could bring out Kate, Tommy Egan's mom." Davis McLean's like, "Nah, I'll wipe the floor with her." And he's just throwing out names, and then it's like Davis McLean is like shutting him down. And then Sax like, "Oh, okay, I got one." And Paz is who it is. Angela's sister. And as Sax pops up on her, he tells her like, "I need you to testify one night," and she's like, "No, I'm done with that. That's done with that part of my life. Like I put that behind me." And he's pretty much saying like, "I can sit there and subpoena you to do it, and you're gonna have to do it. So you might as well just come in without me having to do all that." And she's like, "I don't know anything for the most part. Like Tasha didn't tell me anything about it." And he's like, "Cool, that's good with me. Make sure you just say that on the stand." So we all know Kane has been MIA. He's been, like I said, doing his own thing in Hideout. And Diana's like, yo, like, when talking to Monet and Drew, she's like, oh, I think I may know where he's at. So she's like, yo, she pops up on him. And this is the same girl from, the girl that Kane is with right now, the same girl from, like, I believe it was episode 1, maybe 2, or episode 1, where, like, Kane offers her boyfriend and, he's getting down with her in the bathroom and stuff. And for the most part, she's giving Diana a hard time. Kane comes downstairs, and Kane's like, "Yo, what you doing here? Like, go home." And she's like, "No, like, we got this drop tomorrow, and we need you. Like, where you at?" And Kane pretty much like, "Oh, Monet, I mean, mommy don't want me there. Poppy don't want me there." And Diana's making it like, but by you showing up is going to show that they can trust you and that she can trust you. And he's like, "Oh, did she say that? Like, does she want me? Has she been talking about me? Does she want me to come back?" And she's like, they pretty much exchanging, I love you," and just be there for her. Like, that's how you can prove something to them. He's like, all right, I'll be there. Now, back at Stansfield, Tariq's sitting in the room, and Trace ends up walking in. And Tariq's like, yo, what you doing in here? Like, last time you was here, you was stealing stuff that wasn't yours, might I add. And you still haven't like, got me back my stuff. So, unless you want me to call Kane, like, that big black scary guy over here again, to handle that, I suggest you either get my stuff or leave. And he pretty much like, Trace is like, man, I don't know what you got my brother into, but like, you need to stop, or you need to get him out of there, or I'm gonna snitch on you for the most part. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna call the cops. And Tariq's telling him like, bro, the cops work for us, they work with us, and anything you do to try to tell on me, the only thing it's gonna do is come back onto your brother. So I mean, take your pick, do what you want to do. But I have an alibi as well. My alibi, I was in here playing with chess with Riley all night, and so I mean, I'm in the clear. And then Trace, he's like sitting there like, oh yeah, I bet you do got an alibi. Like, yeah, you were with Riley. Yeah, I know what you and Riley got going on, and it's not what's up, man. And Tariq thinking like, me and Riley got going on. Ain't nothing going on. He's like, yeah, I seen you in the room. You two in the room. You were like laid out, so she probably put it on you, and now you like laid out, knocked out or whatnot. And it gets Tariq to think like, what really happened that night, and he could possibly use that later down the road, but we'll see. Moving on. Now Tasha, she's on the phone with your boy Tariq, and she's like, "Man, stuff isn't looking good at this trial. I don't think you should come to the trial. Focus on just getting the money from McLean and worrying about the school for the most part. Because as we know, in that courtroom, stuff is switching up, and Tariq's name is being like has been circulating throughout the courtroom, from Davis McLean to the Sacks. Like his name is it just keeps coming up, and she's not really feeling like it's a bad idea for Tariq to be in that area with his name keeps like coming up in the courtroom. So she pretty much just chill back for a little bit. Like, I don't think you should come to it. Like, just focus on what's more important at this point, which is getting David McLean his money and your schooling for the most part. Now Zeke, it is sex week, and him and Miss Carrie, they getting a lot of it going on. So Zeke, yeah, he's smashing Carrie's buns, and for the most part, he like, yo, like, I'm really starting to feel you, and he's pretty much telling her like, I want you to meet my Aunt Monet. Like, she can be hard at times, but I think she'll like you. And Zeke is like, at this point, man, the boy damn near in love, it seemed like. And Carrie like, yo, I think you should go to the little school situation, and be with girls your own age. And he like, they ain't got nothing on you. I got myself a real woman now, and like all they want to do is hook up with a baller. Carrie is trying to diffuse the situation because she knows this is just on a sexual level. Like, going out in public with this, as she said, it'll blow up and it'll blow over, and it's not gonna be good for any of them, and it just won't look good for them. So then she's pretty much shutting that situation down. Now back with Jabari again, he shows up to Carrie's place. Might add, while Zeke is there, he's actually showering, or he's about to shower. So he shows up to Carrie's place with food from their old joint that they used to go to, and he's like, "Yeah, they gave this to me because they wondered like where you were at." And he also brought the cards that he was supposed to make for the classroom, for this the 48 like laws of power or rules of power. And so he brings them over, and Carrie's like, I thought I told you that we're keeping this on like a professional basis. Like, I will get that from you during school, like school time, school hours for the most part. Like what are you doing here? And he's just like, I just thought it would be sweet for the most part. And he's trying to come in and hang out with her, and she's not budging for her, obviously. She has somebody in the bathroom. So then Jabari ends up hearing the shower go off, and he looks over at the TV, and he sees Sports Center on there. He's like, when you start watching Sports Center? Are you a fan now? And he also sees those rubbers, or I should say condoms. He also sees those condoms and the folder on the shelf right there. And this ticks him off, and she like needs to leave and closes the door on him. So then he runs back to the car, and he's pretty much like, damn, like, he's thinking in his head already, all right, this is her and Tariq. She's messing with Tariq. And so he goes back into the car, and he changes up the little note card on Tariq's name. He rips it up, he changes it up, and we all know what he put on there, for the most part. And he's petty for it, man. Like, I'm really starting not to like this dude. Like, it seems like he hating on a kid, and it don't make no sense at all. But that's Jabari for you. Now, after class, Tariq is in Lauren's room, and they're sitting there talking about the assignment that they got going on for the most part. And Lauren's like, since you're not like in the program, or you out of the program running, like, Tariq, are you gonna just give me like your secret for the most part? And he's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And he's like, you gonna give me yours? And they get to flirt. Obviously, they're flirting in there. And Tariq, he snatches her folder. He's like, give my folder back. He's like, no, you ain't getting it. He like putting it up in the air. So she tackles him on the bed for the most part. And throughout the tackling on the bed, they all face to face for the most part. They messing around, and she like, oh, Professor Milgram didn't say I couldn't use brute force to get it. So might add, the boyfriend pops in, and he has his phone out, camera phone. It looks like it's an iPhone. Yeah, so he has his phone out, and he's in there taking pictures of them all on the bed. And she's like, wait, what you doing? Now, I want you to see how like ridiculous this looks and all this good stuff. And Tariq like, man, don't you like go to school in like DC? Like, what you always doing here? And Lauren ends up putting her input into it, and he's like, this is between two men. And she's like, wait a minute, what? Like, who you disrespecting like that? And he's pretty much going in on Tariq how disrespectful he is. How could he be messing with another man's female? And Lauren, before Tariq says anything else, is like, I'll just talk to you later for the most part. And Tariq like, all right. So Tariq walked past him, call him out his name, and like making fun of him and whatnot. And you could tell this dude he hates Tariq. You could tell he hates Tariq. And man, Lauren pretty much dumps him at that point. Like, yo, our future is over with. We have no future. And he's like, you're gonna regret this, which she probably will when she figures out like what's going on with Tariq, like for real, for real. But as of now, she doesn't. So yeah, he's out of there. So Tariq leaves, and he's like I said beforehand, he's feeling a little off about Riley. Like it's something up with her. So he starts to pull out little tricks his dad used to do. Like, go following people. So he's following Riley. He sees she's going into the courthouse, and he follows her in there. So she's in the courtroom. He's in the courtroom, sitting down in the back, and he just like he's trying to see what's going on, and she's sitting there saying, "Hold on, my uncle, I mean my lawyer will be here soon," and sure enough, he walks into the room, Uncle Nancy. Yep, Cooper Sachs. He's her uncle. He's related to her. So this throws Tariq off, and he's just like, damn. Like, so this is what she's been after this whole time. She's been trying to get information on me, and she's not really. In his head, she's not really messing with Braid like that. Like, her end goal is to find out as much as she can about Tariq, and at this point, Tariq puts it in play, and he gonna get a plan to get her up out of here because she's a snake. She's a snitch, and now that he knows this, something has to be done with her. So Tariq and Braden are back in the dorm room, and he pretty much tells Braden, he's like, "Yo, Braden, um, I don't know why I didn't say it before. I don't know how to really say this, but like back that day at the party, Riley tried to come on to me, and I mean, it's been hard for me to say it for the most part, but here I am telling you." And Braden, he doesn't believe it for 1 second. He's like, "Tariq, come on, man, like, you're lying." And Tariq is like, "No, I'm not. Like, I'm not lying actually. And if you need any proof, your brother could tell you. He came in, and Braden's not trying to hear it because I mean he likes his girl. I will go as far as say he loves this girl. He loves this girl, but as we can say now, he likes this girl a lot, and he just like she wouldn't do that to me. And if something like this would happen, she probably would have told me. And he's like, Tariq, like you told me you wouldn't do this no more. You told me you wouldn't be out there lying. So personally, I don't know if he's saying, Tariq, you say you wouldn't be out here lying about certain stuff. If he's saying this about because he doesn't believe that Riley was trying to mess with Tariq, or if he doesn't know like why Tariq didn't say something sooner. But so I don't really know what that one was about. But yeah, he pretty much like Tariq like cut it out. Like you just sitting there making up stuff, and Tariq's like, nah, man, like ask your brother if you don't believe me. Now we all know Jabari, he hasn't been doing real good on his writing life, writing for his book, and now he's on. As we can see, he's on chapter 6 of his book, and at this point, he's stuck. So he calls in one and only Tariq because he's like Jabari seems to be obsessed with writing about Professor Milgram. So with that being said, he obviously at this point believes that Tariq and her got something going on. So he wants to write about her through Tariq's eyes for the most part. So he's not really sitting there saying like Tariq, I know you got something going on with her, but he believes it. Obviously, that's why he rewrote Tariq's little note card, and he's been even in this scene, he's been questioning Tariq like, "Yo, like, what were you doing this morning?" Tariq, I'm in the library. I was at the library. Like, no, you're not. The library was closed. So you can tell that he thinks that Tariq was in the room with her, and that's who was in her room for the most part. So he pretty much saying though, I want to know, Tariq, like tell me about like the power relationships, and I want you to go into detail, like a lot of detail, and just pretty much lay it all on the line. Tariq like, okay, I can do that, and it made me think like, is he saying this because he wants to know if Tariq is really the person messing with her, so he can sit there and say like, so in these major details that he's supposed to put in there, like specific details, is he saying that because he like, okay, Tariq's gonna put these specific details in here, and I'm gonna see if it's really him messing with her, or is he saying that because, he wants to steal Tariq's work again? Because the way it's looking, he's definitely about to steal his work again. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last time that this happens. So yeah, I really want to know like if you guys have any like comments or ideas on this certain situation or this specific situation, please leave it in the comment section below, and we can we can chop it up about it a little later. But yeah, I'm looking forward to knowing about that, knowing a little more about that actually. Now it's trial time, y'all, and Paz is at the stand, and here we go. Cooper Saxe is pretty much telling her like he's saying certain stuff to her and about Tasha and about the organization that James was running, and Paz is like not really giving like information that he's looking for the most part, and that Stephen Ott will be looking for. And then, but she definitely says though that yeah, Tasha was the one that told me about Tommy killing my sister and all that good stuff. So then at that point, Stephen Ott looks up and he's like, "Yo, like Sax, what's going on?" And Sax, he don't really have anything to say. Like he's like, "Damn, like this not looking too good for me. And I have to keep my job." So Sax goes back up there right before he. Oh, actually, he doesn't even go down yet. He turns back around and he's like, he starts to the way he starts to word, like how he's talking to Paz and starts to word like certain things. He's pushing it out of Paz to sit there and say like, okay, yeah, Tasha, she could have been a part of this. She could have been the head of this. She could have been running stuff, and that starts to get Paz to start. That gets Paz to start thinking like, yo, like Tasha, like, did you really do that? And as you can see on the other end, Tasha's just like, wow, like this not looking good for me. And Davis McLean is like, I know this man didn't. Like, we had a deal, and man, I don't know. It's getting real hefty over here, and I can see why Tasha was telling Tariq like, yeah, don't come to the trial because there's so much uncertainty going on at this trial that you don't know what's gonna happen. So then that brings Davis McLean up to the stand, and he's up there with Paz, and he's pretty much shutting her down. Like, first you said James was the one who killed her. Now you're saying Tommy's the one who killed her. Now you're saying Tasha had something to do with it. Like, you don't have anything. Like, you don't really know what you're talking about. And it seems to me that you have no problem with lying on the stand. And she pretty much just going in like, no, I'm not lying. And I've said this, I've said that. But he's pretty much shutting down and shooting down everything she's saying because she has so many different stories that you don't know what to believe. So you can't trust her for the most part, is how he's coming off. Now, with Kane being MIA, and obviously we've seen that when Diana went up there to tell him, like, yo, we got this drop, and like, we need you to be here. And like I said, Kane was like, yeah, I would be here, but as we see now, Kane's not here. So Diana takes matters to her own hands, and she go ahead and text Tariq, like, hey, or Tariq message her and says, hey, have you heard any word on the product? And she's like, yeah, come down to the bar. You can actually come down right now. And we all know this is for like just so they can have more manpower up there because it's just them for the most part, and you never know what can happen when you're doing got a drug deal going on and stuff goes left. You don't have the person that you can trust for the most part. Kane, the like I said, the family's all like he's a strong man in the family. So at this point, he's not here. They need people. They need somebody. So she tells him he can come down, and that's what Tariq does. Just what he does. He comes down. As Tariq gets down, he's pretty much going in and telling her like, yo, that night like that you came over, Lauren wasn't in the room, and like I haven't been lying to you. Like I just needed to see a few things, but I mean, like I haven't been lying to you about none of that. So they're going on talking about it, and they're pretty much expressing each other's like feelings toward each other. He's telling like, hey, I like you, but my life is complicated, and she's like she understands that for the most part. So Tariq and Diana, they seem to start making up on certain stuff. So Tariq, he gets a call, and it's Professor Milgram, and she calls him. She's pretty much telling him like stuff about like what's been going on with the assignment and in class about him not making it into the program. And while she's doing that, Diana is snooping through his stuff. Like, people just don't stop snooping. Like, it's her, like Riley, then it's her, and she sees this. She sees the postcard that was written from Jabari actually. So long story short, when Tariq gets back from the call, they like I said they end up making up, and they share a few kisses. They kiss, and sparks get to flying. Meanwhile, upstairs, Monet and at the little meeting she having with the dudes. he pretty much telling her like what it is and what it ain't. Like, you not gonna be doing this, and this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what you not gonna do, and this is what how you gonna do this. And she looking like, you don't run this, and this ain't up for no negotiation for the most part. And stuff goes down, and all of a sudden they get into it. Monet, he pulls out like a little box cutter. He about to stab her for the most part. She's on the floor, and Tariq and Diana hear noises from downstairs, from upstairs. So they come upstairs, and right on time, they kind of scared. They kind of get him to turn around, and as soon as he turn around to turn back around to look at Monet, she has a gun out. She shoots him. Boom, stands up, and she takes him out for the most part. So after Monet shoots him, Tariq and Diana, they see this, and she's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? Like, Kane's not here. Like, Kane usually helps Drew like take care of the body." Captain Monet says Drew will take care of the body, and Tariq says, "I know how this go. Like, he not gonna be able to do that by himself. Like, let me do it." And all this is pretty much doing is building, is helping build the trust between Monet and Tariq a lot more. And even then, like Monet's pretty much like, Tariq, like what is he doing here? And she looks at Diana when she comes up. Oh, that's what he's here. That's why he's here. And she just like I called him because, I mean, Kane ain't here. He ain't been here. Like, we don't know what's going on with him. So I need somebody, and we need somebody here that we can trust, and you can trust him for the most part. And Tariq is pretty much telling her like, you can trust me. You can put your trust into me. I'll help him. I'll help Drew take care of this. So then Monet orders Drew and Tariq to take care of it. My bad. And she orders Drew and Tariq to take care of it. And while they out there taking care of it, Drew sets it up because Tariq makes it seem like he doesn't know what he's doing. Obviously we know what he's doing because he's taking out his dad goes and he's taking out a cop. So we know Tariq know how to like get rid of a body and get rid of certain stuff. But Tariq is playing off to them or playing off to Drew like he doesn't know what's going on. And Drew is pretty much making it out like damn man, you're a rookie, man. Like, what's going on? Like, this is how you do this. So Drew, he puts a serious face on, has him stand up in the car, and he shoots through the window, and to make it look like it was an accident or look like something else happened in the situation. And to me, I mean, personally, I think Tariq played it off smooth. Now your boy Braden is about to tear a new one onto Riley. So he brings up to Riley like, wow, like this is over with. Like you trying to mess around with Tariq behind my back, and she's like, Tariq, and she pretty much tells Braden like, yo, like I wasn't messing around with Tariq, and that's never been the case. So Braden's like, oh, if you wasn't, like my brother said the same thing, and he's like, if you really wasn't messing around with Tariq or trying to mess around with him, like tell me what happened. But like we all know she can't tell him what happened because if she did, how's it gonna sound? Yeah, I drugged Tariq to get information from him from my uncle Nancy. No, that's not gonna happen. So she pretty much stuck in the bind now, and she can't really say anything. But then she sits there and she tells Braden like, your brother was the one trying to like get with me. It wasn't Tariq, but like to be completely honest with you, Braden, like I wasn't messing around with him. But Braden not trying to hear it, and he pretty much tells her like to leave. Now your boy Kane is downtown or wherever he's at, and he makes a call first, nobody answers. He makes another call, nobody answers. So then he makes his third call, and then lo and behold, somebody answers, and he's telling him like where he's at and that he needs to be scooped up. And when he gets scooped up, we all see that he's called like Officer Ramirez. Now we know that Kane really can't stand this dude, and they can't stand each other for the most part because in Ramirez's eyes, Kane is always getting in trouble, and he doesn't. He's always trying to do stuff that he's not supposed to be doing. He know he's not. He's not good at doing. In Kane's eyes, he's like, "What are you doing here? You work for us, me and pops and moms and everybody, like the family, and you always like out open in the daylight, showing up over here. It's gonna cause like questions to be asked about us and all this stuff." He's like, "So what have you been doing around, man?" So then, Kane's pretty much sitting there telling him like, "Bro, like, man, she's choosing to go she's choosing to go with Tariq with this school situation." He's like, Tariq St. Patrick? Like, yeah, Tariq St. Patrick. She's choosing to go with him uh, on this route to make money that way, and she's pushing me out. So if she's pushing me out, you already know what's coming next for you. Why does she need you? She gonna push me out. And this gets Officer Ramirez thinking like, wait a minute, she has been acting different and changing up stuff. So like, I guess we're gonna find out about it. So back at the Tejada house, um, Ramirez brings him and Kane shows up, and he's pretty much speaking for Kane. Monet's asking like, what's going on, and Ramirez is telling her like, oh, he got caught heading a robbery at his church with so and so, and she's like, wait, Kane can speak for herself. Why are you speaking for him? And she's pretty much they pretty much Kane brings up to her like what happened with the situation at the drop, and she was like, you wasn't there, but blah blah blah, all this stuff happened, and then he put his hands on Mama, and he's like, I'll take care of him, and she like, he's already taken care of, and by who? You know, Drew ain't built for that, and brings up like Tariq helped him, and with her saying Tariq helped him, Kane looks at Officer Ramirez like, I told you, like, told you she's putting all this trust into to Tariq, and I mean, yeah, it's pushing us out for the most part. Then Monet, she sees the scratches on Kane's face, and she asks him like, "Yo, did these come from the guards?" And he's like, "No, like he's pissed off about the Tariq situation. He don't really want to talk to her about it." And Monet, she knows this came from Lorenzo, and she's like, now she has words with him because she already told him like, and brought up to him, and he pretty much told her like, no, I just said this, I said that, but he didn't. He failed to mention like he had them put his hands on her on Kane, and she's not about to let that slide. Now back at Stansfield, Lauren, she shows up to Tariq's room when Tariq gets back from the little situation he was just in, and she's there pretty much telling him like, yo, me and like Malcolm, we over with. Like I broke up with him, and I want to see what can happen between me and you. So then they put lips on each other. I mean, and they get to kissing, and you can tell Lauren, she's trying to get cracked. Tariq, we all know he never seals the deal, so it's bound to not happen. So like I was saying, like they're kissing, and she's starting to take off parts of her clothes or whatnot. And Tariq, he soon realizes like damn, like I still have this bloody shirt on. So he makes up an excuse for the most part, like, oh, here goes the car, like here goes my secret. This is what you wanted, right? This is why you here trying to like do this with me. Because one minute you have a boyfriend, and next minute you like all up on me, like you being like hella confusing for the most part. And Lauren feels like he's trying to play her out to be like some gold digger type. So she gets up out of there for the most part. And we all know Tariq probably didn't want to do this because I mean, and Lauren is fine. So I know he probably didn't want to do this, but he did it anyway just because he knew that he had that bloody shirt on. And I mean, if she would have took off his jacket like she was approaching to do, then he could have possibly been caught. Me personally, I would have took off my own shirt. I would have tossed it somewhere to where it couldn't have been found and dealt with it later. But I wasn't gonna pass up on that one. So for the most part, the next day, Lauren goes back and shows Professor Milgram that okay, I got the secret, but from Tariq, but I think he was lying about it. So then when Professor Milgram she reads the note or the card, she sees that Jabari did this, and she knew Jabari did it because she had him write the cards, but she sees that like, oh, he's trying to spill business for the most part. So she calls him into her office, and she pretty much treats him up like yeah, he a little kid, and he's sitting there saying like, "Oh, I know you messing with Tariq. I know you're doing this. I know you're doing that. Just tell me what's up." And she tells him like, "For one, you're wrong. I'm not sleeping with Tariq, and this is something that you're doing because of your own guilt. Because we know that you slept with Melissa, your grad assistant." And Jabari gets all in his feelings for the most part, and like, "No, you wouldn't do that." And she's like, "Yes, like I would." So you need to like get out of my office and like leave this situation alone. I couldn't believe you really like try to pull something like that. And yeah, like Jabari, man, I don't know, man. I don't like this character. I don't like this dude. He just seems to like he's a snake. He seems to like he's childish. It seems like I don't know. I just don't get it. Like I just don't get it. But I can't stand this dude. Somebody needs to deal with him. Now Davis McLean, yeah, he pulls up on Sax because he is not feeling like what happened in the courtroom. He's like, Sax, like what happened, man? Like we had a deal, and it definitely seems that you went like AWOL on that deal for the most part. Like you doing your own thing like completely, and like he's pissed off about it. He's like, you making Tasha. We had a deal to make sure Tasha can get off, but now you making it seem like Tasha is the whole the big reason behind everything. And Sax is pretty much telling him like, bro, like man, like Stephen Ott, he's on my back right there, and I have to save my job no matter what. And I had to do what I had to do to make it look like I had like a fight in this case. Like and Steve, like I said, Stephen I was like is on his back, and he obviously we all seen that he was there, and yeah, he is breathing down Sax's back like really heavy, and Sax had to do something. And next Sax is pretty much he gives Davis McLean an envelope and like yo like or a folder, and he's like I have something that can like pretty much shut down the rest of this case for Tariq, and Davis McLean open up the folder, and he sees that it's Epiphany for the most part, and she's the one who's like who Tasha used to help run her drugs through that daycare business and all that good stuff, and Tariq even like approached her and got help from her in Power Book 2 in this season to help get money for his moms to help sell some weight for the most part. So they're hoping that she is going to sit there and turn on Tasha or turn on Tariq and say that, oh, this is what the situation is. And I mean, it could be it's a good idea for the most part. I guess we're going to see if that actually pans out. So Monet and Lorenzo, they get back on the phone, and Monet is pretty much letting Lorenzo have it. Like, you sat there and told me this is what you did and what happened, but you failed to mention like y'all like put your hands on him. You know Kane is sensitive, and you know this stuff about him, and you decided to do that for the most part. Like, and she's pretty much telling him like he's mine, not yours, and I run stuff while I'm out here, and this you don't know what's going on out here. So you doing this, you're messing stuff up out this way. Like I got everything out outside on the outside world, and Lorenzo. He makes his little face, and he's like, he pretty much talked to you about it. He's like, you're not a man. Like, I had to do what only a man can do for the most part, and she just like, and Monet ain't trying to hear it. She's like, nah, you didn't took it too far with that. Now back in the room, Braden walks in on Tariq doing his paper, and Braden just pretty much like, yo, Tariq, I cut Riley off, like it's over with. Like yeah, Trace told me everything that happened, and come to find out that you wasn't lying about it, and I really hope this doesn't messes up Braden's and Tariq's like friendship or bond, because this is kind of the same thing that Ghost would do with Tommy. He would pretty much say like he would tell him the truth, but he wouldn't tell him the whole truth. So now when Tommy finds out, he's pissed off at Ghost because he's like, man, you made me do this out of what you told me, and it wasn't even the whole truth. Like, why can't you just tell me? And for the most part, I feel like this situation is going to come back. It's obviously it's going to come back, and Braden's going to find out the truth. And to be honest, me personally, I don't feel like Tariq had to necessarily tell Braden that story he told him. He could have just told him like, yeah, Riley's working for the feds, and that could have been it. He didn't have to tell him that, oh, she's working for the feds to find information about Tariq. All that matters is that she's working for the feds, and they know they got this situation, this drug business going on at the school. So they have to cut her off, or they have to like let her loose, and that could have worked just fine in my opinion. But yeah, I feel like this situation is gonna come back because obviously Braden's sad about it and he's hurt about it, and Riley, we see the way she feel about Braden. She's not about to just let it go for the most part. So I guess we're gonna find out what's gonna happen between those three actually coming up in the near future. Now, finally, Paz, she goes to visit Tasha and at jail, and she pretty much like, Tasha, did you really have all this set up, and did you really like do all this, knowing that you I set this up and have my sister killed? And Tasha pretty much tells her like, I didn't set anything up. I didn't have anything to do with Angela being killed. Like that wasn't anything to do with me. And she goes in to also tell Paz about like, yo, like I didn't kill James either. I didn't do that. And Paz looks at her and is like, we know what happened to my sister Angela when she stayed in too long. So if you really didn't do this and you know who did this, you can't protect them forever. Like look out for yourself, because at the end of the day, that's all you got at the end of the day. And Tasha's pretty much, like I said, telling her, like, I didn't do this, I didn't kill him. And to me personally, it looks like Tasha is thinking about going back on her deal with Tariq. And I got and later in the, like sometime this week, I'll post another video. I'll post a video about this as well, about what Tasha and how she seems to be feeling at this moment as well. But yeah, this was a deep moment right here between Paz and Tasha, and it definitely is another big storyline that'll be coming up. Um, but thanks for all the support, you guys, and thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to always receive more Power Book 2 content and power content in general. And I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button again. Thank you.